So I want to talk about some important things that aren't so obvious about the Moogle Treasure Trove event, and make a quick guide that has everything you need to know about it. Specifically, why some of the 50 tome items are a trap, the best ways to grind, and why Blue Mage matters. If you don't know, the Treasure Trove is a recurring event throughout the year where you basically farm old forms of content for a special currency that you can trade for items here at this Moogle, which you can find in each of the 3 main cities. It's helpful because there are some items that can be annoying or difficult to get depending on which content you're capable of doing. The biggest items are usually locked behind RNG instance drops like dungeons and extreme trials, or things that involve crafting like the Megalotragus horn here that currently costs 700,000 gil at the time of this recording in North America. Any price I mentioned in this video is going to be an average of the 3 lowest prices I'm seeing across the 3 North American data centers. Prices may vary if you're not in North America. I'm not going to cover every single item because it's a better use of your time for me to link you to some fantastic resources the community has already made, and I want to talk about some lesser known parts of the event. I'll mention some of these resources later in the video, but check the description if you want to see them now. Now let's talk about the big ticket items and why they're often a trap. First we have the Megalotragus horn. That's a weird thing to say. The orchestrion roll for a long fall, the Garabonian plate hairstyle, and the emphatic elucidation, aka the insist emote. Why I'm bringing these up is because each of these are all available on the market board and are pretty expensive. For players without a lot of gil, the Moogle event is a great way to avoid RNG and avoid having to spend tons of gil to get some of these. The problem is, lots of players know how in demand some of these items are. On the market board, the Megalotragus horn goes for around 700,000 gil, the Long Fall Orchestrion roll goes for 100,000 gil, the hairstyle goes for 1 million gil, and the emote goes for about 250,000 gil. The fact that a long fall is available here is a great way to explain the problem. Even just a few months ago, getting this song to drop from the dungeon could net you 1 million gil on the market board because it was that in demand. It's one of the most popular songs in the entire game, so a lot of people were buying them. So why is it only worth 100,000 gil now? The answer to that is Eureka Orthos. Because the song can now be one of the possible drops that you get in Eureka Orthos, the price went down a ton because so many more were able to flood the market. So what does this have to do with the Moogle Tome event? So many players see the event as a cash grab opportunity. That means that they farm the tomes just to go and buy some of the big ticket items to sell them on the market board. And what happens when everyone does this? The prices go down. I can't predict how much further it will fall now that it's available to all the tome farmers, but if it was able to lose 90% of the price because of Eureka, that gives you an idea of how much further down it could go. The takeaway here is that farming 50 Moogle tomes takes time. Let's say that you run 8 Alliance raids, which will net you 7 tomes per run. That's going to be about 4.5 hours of dedicated Alliance raid farming, since the near raids are on the longer side, and people often still die to the mechanics. You're better off waiting a bit for the price to drop so you can buy it with gil instead. Instead, you can buy something else with those hard-earned tomes that actually will be challenging to get. The same is true for a lot of these items. Unless you're in a rush, I strongly recommend waiting until later on in the event to see how far the prices will drop from people trying to profit off of these. If things still seem expensive, go ahead and spend the tomes. Otherwise, you save yourself a lot of time so you can focus on other things like the Beast Tribe mounts or the Magitech Predator, since these can actually be a pain to get normally. And if you're trying the profit, consider stocking up on some of the rare items to sell these later. After the event is over and the supply goes down, the prices can go back up, just maybe not as high as they were before. As for the farming itself, Blue Mage is going to be the way that a lot of people speed through some of the content. I'll link to a guide from the Blue Mage Academy that goes through this better than I can ever do, but if you don't have a Blue Mage or don't care to level it, you're probably best off running the near raids over and over, since these will get you about 7 tomes each time, specifically the last one. The Moogle events are never complicated, and Blue Mage is almost always one of the best things to have for farming them when they come around, so I do recommend looking into that. I'm also going to link this handy infographic made by Blue the Slinky on Reddit, which goes over some of the items in detail and how hard they are to get otherwise. If you made it this far, I really do appreciate it, and I'd love if you consider subscribing. Good luck with the farming.